Dreamcast guy here, and
You
we
got it
have some breaking
wrong,
news today,
buddy.
which
You
is
got
that
it
Nintendo
wrong.
just announced the price and the printer time.
And guess what? You got it wrong. You got it wrong, buddy. You got it wrong.
For the Nintendo Switch 2.
No, he kept it.
Accessories. And I'll be honest,
$600 to
I thought
$700
this
for
was
what?
very, very, very bad. I mean,
Oh, yeah?
I just feel like
Oh, here we go.
they're managing to keep the price of the system itself at $450 for now. But
And you still
even
have
in their
a problem
own
with this?
statement, they're pretty much like, okay, the price is going up. But also,
But you didn't tell people that. This man Captain, bro, out here trying to hate on the Nintendo Switch 2, man. What's wrong with you? He got it wrong, buddy. He got it wrong.
controllers are not going to be over $100.
Oh, here we go. Now we gotta move into the controllers. Yo, now you wanna talk about controllers? What you gonna do with Switch 2 controllers? Dreamcast guy, just tell me you trying to troll us. Yo, before it was the console, now it's the controllers.
So good luck playing some of that freaking $80 Mario Kart.
Oh, here we go. What are you talking about? It comes with a controller. Good luck trying to play what? You think it just come with a screen? You had a better chance say good luck to playing that couch co-op. I mean, come on, man. If this ain't hate mongering at its finest, then I don't know what to tell you, man. This dude moved from games to the console and now to the controllers. What are we doing here, man?
About this because I feel like Nintendo is
Just admit
trying
you
to
was
do
wrong.
this in a positive light. They're trying to get some positive spin. I think this is
And clearly
still
you
going
hate.
to be a very bleak launch. But let me,
He's still hating on it. I mean, come on, man. You was wrong. I mean, maybe there's some truth to that. Maybe that's why they're trying to sell it for $449 now. I mean, people have told me that they might eventually raise the price at a later date. So, yes, maybe it would be the best time for people to buy a Switch 2 now, considering that that might happen in the inevitable future. But you told people that it was going to launch at $600 to $700, and look at it, man. Look at how wrong you are.
explain why. I hope you're having a great day. And if you right now, Nintendo is just terrified of having piles and piles and piles of Nintendo Switch 2s. In fact, famously, Nintendo has very much mastered the art of false scarcity. They purposely
Oh,
make
yeah,
it
we know they did it with the N64.
where if everybody's trying to get a Wii or a 3DS, if you are just obsessively hunting
I
the
mean,
store-
you know what's funny, man? I like how he's putting a list of this, right? Like, you see, it's expensive. You don't need most of this for the Switch. You don't need an extra dock. I mean, you can get the camera if you want. I mean, you don't need the carrying case. Like, what are you guys expecting? Just because you buy the Switch 2 doesn't necessarily mean that I have to buy every single one of these things. Now, mind you, $95 for a pair of Joy-Con 2s is kind of crazy in my personal opinion, but still, Donkey Kong Bonanza don't even launch with the Switch, so I don't even know why that's even there. I mean, what are you doing? Charging grip. I mean, these are the same things that were also on the Switch 1. You're not obligated to have to buy any of these I wouldn't even call them devices, accessories. Now we out here talking about controllers, now accessories. Oh, you see, it's expensive. But these are the same dudes that bought the VR2 for $600. These are the same people that bought a $700 to $800 PS5 Pro just so they can get the label. Now y'all talking about Indiana Jones, we got the superior version when it's practically barely any difference. I mean, what are we doing here, man? You want to sit there and worry about how people spending their money, but y'all out here running out with VR2 headsets that cost you more than $600 and a Pro that was $700 to $800 when that system launched. Get out of here with this crap.
We're trying to find a system. If it's always a little bit rare, everybody's going to talk about it more. People are going to find one, and no matter the price, they're going to celebrate when they buy it.
Oh, yeah, no different than the PS5. That's why y'all paid $1,000 from a scalper.
100% believe that Nintendo was terrified that if they upped the price at all, if there are piles of Nintendo Switch sitting at your Best Buy or Walmart, it looks like it's less in demand. It's like, oh, I don't want to buy that system that nobody else wants to buy. I have a strong feeling, and I could be wrong,
really?
I have a strong feeling that this is now costing them more than $450 to make. Like, they're losing money technically on this. I would actually say that there have been certain companies that are basically in the United States, now that tariff is 800% or something, then you just can't even afford to take it off.
But you wasn't saying that. You was saying that this console was going to launch at $600 to $700, and like I said, you're more likely right. That's probably going to hit Nintendo much later on. But you didn't advocate for that. You was like $600-$700 consoles. So if anything, it's probably better if you buy the console now and deal with the high price tag of these games because, like you said, according to your own words, it's going to be higher.
Both. This is actually happening right now. So I think that basically companies have been. If anybody happens to get an extra pre-order, my thing is that as much as I've hated the marketing, as much as I'm not wowed by the games themselves.
Really? You don't like none of the games? I thought you said you like Metroid Prime 4. Well, that's crazy. This dude is a bona fide pony because let's just be honest, man. Like, I like PlayStation 2 as well. Well, I love PlayStation 2. You know, I'm saying PlayStation, 5 too. But you got to think about it, bro. The games that Nintendo is offering are way better than what you're getting with PlayStation. The games that Microsoft are offering is way better than the games you're getting on PlayStation, bro. The best games on PlayStation are the best games on Xbox, bro. Like, so I'm just saying, man, the lack of software from Sony is very troubling to me. And this is why I don't know why you guys damage control so much for this piece of PS5 plastic.
I'm a person that does still review tech. I'm a person that does still play games.
Oh, so you're going to get one. Don't tell, bruh.
I'm still curious to play the Nintendo Switch 2 myself because I got to admit, I'm not impressed or wowed at all. And I still will double down on the fact that...
So just admit you don't like Nintendo games, and that's fine. You're entitled to that. But to go on this hate tirade, man, when you could be talking about the things that are going on PlayStation, you know, the company that you do like, with all the bad stuff that's going on with them, shows you that you're being very disingenuous with the content that you're making.
Prices, just in general, I think are going to hurt the launch because even diehard fans... used to, people would post pictures of the Nintendo Switch original with like 5 controllers and buying every game and just hundreds and hundreds of games. If your games cost $80 a pop, if your controllers cost $100 a pop.
I mean, if you think about it, hold on. The Switch 2 Pro controller, I think that's like a few dollars higher. They did the same thing because the Joy-Con ones, they were like what, $80? So dang, Nintendo, you decided to charge an additional I can tell, an additional $15 for the Joy-Con 2s. Well, it does have more technology, but still though, it comes off very scummy considering that the technology that y'all using is kind of outdated. So it's like, why would you raise the price of the controllers just because of the new mouse technology that y'all added probably, or that extra button that you have to pay to use it, and you want to charge more money for the pair of Joy-Cons? If anything, they should be priced the same.
I feel like they're not going to have that same...
Especially considering that you can't even use the Joy-Con ones on the Switch 2 anyway. You get what I'm saying?
Catch-em-all vibe that typically Nintendo fans have. Like, whenever they released a special edition Zelda controller or Splatoon controller, I love my Splatoon controller a lot and stuff like that, it's a lot easier to buy it if it's $50 or $40 instead of $100. I think Nintendo has found themselves in a weird spot, and they are, as best as possible, trying to navigate what is definitely going to be...
I mean, they're doing the same thing Sony's doing, charging for the bare minimum. And like I've said before, this is what you guys advocated. Don't put me in this spectrum with you guys because I have not once advocated for these things. Okay? You guys have. You know what I'm saying? All the Joy-Cons breaking, and now look at it. They're going to break on the Joy-Con 2s. You're going to be spending $95, about $100 for some Joy-Con 2s. That is crazy, bro. So much for that couch co-op. You might as well get with yourself a third-party aftermarket Mad Catz controller if that's what y'all trying to do with a wire going through it.
Very, very rocket launch. Now, my final thought on this is that I want to say I do give props to Nintendo. I am glad that they're definitely eating costs. If you're trying to think that they're not, you're saying, yep, damn it, I was right. But I want to end off by take a look at a I think the fact that a lot of people are basically like, okay, it's still like I do like this. I still have to pay $80 for a new game and $90.
That is crazy though. Like I said, and this is what gaming is coming down to, man. They realize that, this is a hobby that you guys enjoy so much that they're really taking advantage of you guys. You know what I'm saying? And what's even more laughable is like, okay, Nintendo, you want to charge $450 for the Switch? Then that means you should also drop the prices on the Switch 1s as well. But you don't care because some people might still buy the Switch 1 in regards. It's like if you buy the Switch 1, Nintendo's making a huge margin. They're not losing anything on that. If anything, they probably prefer if you buy the OLEDs more. Y'all like, what? Why would they prefer you to buy the lower model? Because there's still money going in their bank. So the least appealing. So even when people say, "Oh, well, I don't care for the Switch 2, I'm gonna go pick me up a Switch 1." You're still doing what Nintendo wants you to do because you're still giving them the money for what is it at this point? Like, yeah, 8-10-year-old hardware. Do you get what I'm saying? You're still giving them $300, $350 for some old hardware. They're trying to incentivize buying the Switch 2 as this premium new device so you guys can leave the old systems behind by also charging you a high premium through the price tag. This is why y'all complaining about the prices.
For controllers, I think it's interesting how many people are still stuck on those game prices, because honestly, I am as well. But
I mean, at least with the PlayStation 5, even if you didn't want one, you could keep your PS4. PS4 is relatively cheap. Now, mind you, I don't know if Sony, because like I said, I don't think people are going to trade in their Switches and be like, oh, I'm going to sell mine for $100. They're going to look at the fact that, oh, wow, they still priced at $300 to $350. I'm going to still, the market after, like, because with the PlayStation 4, they dropped the prices, you know what I'm saying? And also, too, they came on a lot of models, PS4, PS4 Pro, PS4 Slim. So there's a lot of different models. So people buy them and then they want to get rid of them for the PS5. So, that market where people can go buy things from each other, that's why the PS4 is so low. If you want to go pick one for $100 even. But with the Switch, you're still going to be paying good money. You're still going to be paying good money even for a Switch 1. So that's why Nintendo's like, yep, just get the Switch 2. Just get the Switch 2. It's $450, I mean, well, it's a little bit higher than that, but, you get everything. And you get the access to some of the Switch 1 games. That's the whole appeal. So if you go out there and buy a Lite or an OLED, if anything, you're dumb. Listen, if you have these things already, then you're good. But I'm saying if you go out there and say, I'm boycotting the Switch 2, so therefore I'm going to go pick me up a Switch 1, you're actually dumb if you do that. You're actually dumb. You might as well just get the Switch 2. And I'm going to explain why. Because first off, you're still giving Nintendo your money. And on top of that, you're giving them far more money, more profit margins on something that's 8-year-old technology. You might as well just say, put the $100 on top and get the new latest hardware. Now, mind you, you should still want to keep a Switch 1 just for the backwards compatibility for some of the games you might own. But I'm just saying, if I'm looking at it from a perspective, I'd rather get the Switch 2 than the Switch 1 if I didn't have one already. Does that make sense? But knowing me, I probably would have to buy 2 because, well, this is also coming from a guy that buys his games and stuff like that. So I still need my Switch 1 while also needing my Switch 2. I cannot get rid of my Switch 1 in favor of a Switch 2, considering that majority of my games might not be running one for one off each other. Do you get what I'm saying? As a real gamer, we can't have that. You know what I mean? I was actually quite irritated when I had PS4 games and I put them on my PS5 and they weren't running as well as I thought they should as my base model PS4s and my Pro. So I'm like, nah, I gotta keep these. You see what I'm saying? So when people say, oh, just get rid of the old console and just get the new one. Well, it's not like how it was with DS going to 3DS. It's not that simple anymore. You get what I'm saying? You're going to have, and you probably still will have compatibility issues, but this is probably the first time Nintendo's probably going to have the most, if that makes sense, right? So like I said, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Now apparently it's not the console no more $600, $700. It's now the $100 controllers, of course. We get it. Nintendo's charging a premium. I'm not advocating for this. The Switch 2 dock set is pretty good for the price. You know what I mean? It was about the same for the Switch 1. So like I said, that's fine. The camera is ridiculous, but I don't know how you charge $50 for that. Hopefully a lot of third-party accessories will, help advocate and make cheaper alternatives and possibly better. But like I said, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video and take care. Peace out.